everyone, welcome to Rev Sports. I am Shorjani Chatterjee, and joining me today is Snehashish Mukherjee. Now, we had said that we would not appear for the pre-match and the post-match live, but how can we resist ourselves when Smriti Mandhana has scored, runs today? She has scored 88 runs, and I just go on and read what she has said in the post-match presentation. While Snehashish joins the live, so Mandhana has said that it feels great to win the match. Got a little lucky with the drop chance, but glad I could do the job for the team. We discussed that the wicket has a bit of hold, and that is not a typical Headingley wicket. We felt if we played positive cricket and commit to our shots, we could chase it down. Really disappointed with the first run out. That was my mistake. The timeout was at the right time. We got together and saw that we could do and how what we could do and how we could attack. Happy that we could execute it. And then she also spoke about Bryce. Now, before I go on and read the other comments, Snehashish, Mandhana did take the accountability for the run out, right? So, before we get into Mandhana as a leader, because obviously, it takes a lot of courage and a lot of responsibility to go out there and admit and take accountability. But first of all, what I want to ask you is that how good was her innings today? 88 runs. Finally, she has scored runs, and our viewers must be very happy because throughout the 100, throughout the pre-match and the post-match, we've continuously discussed about Smriti Mandhana and her form. Your thoughts, Snehashish?
Second.
Snehashish,
Yes,
you're on mute.
it was
Yes.
a note. Yes. Yes. In one word, I think it was excellent. No doubt about that. I think this is a kind of knock that we expect from someone like Smriti Mandhana. Super knock. The way she attacked the bowlers, the way she single-handedly won the game for her team, it was so good to see. Yes, two drop chances, a bit lucky, but that's part and parcel of the game. How you are taking those chances after getting those lifelines, how you are maximizing that. I think that is the real challenge, and that is where I think the Mandana did well and won the game for a team. So it is so good to see. And as you mentioned, the leadership quality, I think in the post match presentation we saw that the way she took the accountability of that first run out, commenting that it was her mistake, and also saying that I was quite a bit lucky because of those two drop chances. So it was so good to hear the way she took the accountability. So that was Smriti Mandhana is. That is what we always known that how she plays the game. So yeah, very happy for her. Very happy for Mr. Subhash as well. It was a tough chase. It is not easy to chase down 140 plus target in a 100 format. So the way they chase, especially after losing the ball in the middle stage, I think Smriti Mandhana single-handedly won the game, and good support from Captain Bryce in that. I think that was needed.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Smriti Mandhana did speak about Bryce as well. I'll just read out what she said about Bryce. She said that Bryce was really cool with important runs at the end. Anything slow into the wicket was difficult. Just holding your line and shape, I got it pretty late in my innings, and just committing to the shot and not playing anything half-heartedly. In franchise cricket, you have to keep your head down and keep going. If you win matches like this, it puts you in a good place. Definitely it does. But Snehashish, we kind of have an order of our show. We first talk about the winning team and then we talk about the losing team and all of that. But today, three Indians were playing: Richa Ghosh, Smriti Mandhana, and Deepti Sharma. Now, while Richa Ghosh 4 runs, I mean, it was Smriti Mandhana who took all the limelight. But however, Deepti Sharma, those two catches, Snehashish, we have to talk about Deepti Sharma as a fielder today, as well as the bowler. Your thoughts?
See, I think more than the bowler, I think as a player, she was brilliant. That fast catch, I think it was super. One-handed, left hand, the way she dived forward, took that catch. I think again, two brilliant catches already in tournament. I think she has been brilliant on the field. With the ball, I think she could have done a little bit better. I think Smriti Mandhana initially she was bowling well to Smriti, but I think in last five balls when Smriti faced Deepti, I think Smriti, kind of dominated. I think she used her field very well, and the way she played against Dipti, I think it was so good to see. So I think the ball, I think she could have done a little bit better, but on field, I think Dipti was really. again a bit slowish variation with the ball, and she hit the ball pretty well, I would say. But somehow it was straight to the pitch and it was Dipti. So yeah, unfortunate for Richa that she couldn't contribute that much. But I think Dipti again with the ball she could have done a little bit better, but on field she was excellent.
Absolutely, and in your answer, you were talking about Richa Snehashish. Now, the thing is, we have had this discussion multiple times. Even Trishadi had shared a video with us the previous day where it was showing that Smriti Mandhana was bowling a slower ball to Richa, and Richa was actually dismissed. Now, it was a fun game that was happening within the team. However, Richa Ghosh has always struggled against the slower ball. We've seen it throughout the World Cup as well. The moment you give her pace, she can go out there and score runs. But the moment you slow the ball, the moment the ball is a little slow, the pitch it gets a little stuck in the pitch, Richa starts struggling. So how do you see that?
See, I think mostly for any power hitter, I think this is the case. I think any power hitter loves the pace on the ball that helps him to hit their shots and freely. So I think again, I think against any power hitter, that is basic, you know, idea or basic plan for any bowlers that go out there, bowl slower variations, and that can give the batters. And I think somewhere Richa is continuing to not to do well in against that kind of 40 minutes maybe in slowish pitches as well. So I think today the pitch was not that kind of slowish, but still again against a slow, very against variation, she couldn't hit the ball properly above the field and as she hit the ball straight to the so disappointed that she couldn't convert, but still, I only 3 matches. I think in the 5 games we saw she contributed few runs, few runs. So it was so good to see. Second match, obviously, she didn't. The team didn't get to play because of the rain. So one match, it's okay. But I think going forward, I would love to see Richa go scoring some runs down the order. I think that would be beneficial.
Yes, Ashish. And now that we're also talking about, the Super Giants, I think Smriti Mandhana is the talking point today. However, we cannot ignore the performance that the Leeds batters have put up. And if we talk about Phoebe Litchfield, I think she has been consistent this season. And Phoebe Litchfield is the kind of player we've already spoken about her, Sneha Ashish. But today, how crucial was she? I think Sneha Ashish has left and he will be joining soon. But we were talking about Smriti Mandhana and we were talking about Richa Ghosh, and Sneha Ashish was clearly mentioning how crucial it is to have someone like a Richa Ghosh in the team. And with that, I think yes. So Sneha Ashish is still joining. But yeah, like I was saying, Sneha Ashish also mentioned that Richa Ghosh, yes, she has been struggling a little against the slower ball, and we've seen it throughout the World Cup. We've seen that Richa Ghosh, but it is the case with any other power hitter, like you mentioned. But we cannot also ignore the kind of contribution that the other batters have had. I mean, I'm not talking about the Super Giants. I'm talking about the Sunrisers Leeds. When we look at the scorecard, you have Bryony Smith at the top performing, scoring 26 runs, and then in the middle order, Phoebe Litchfield and Annabelle Sutherland. Both of them have scored, and Phoebe Litchfield is the kind of player who has been scoring. We've seen it in the World Cup also. Um, she has that in her. She goes out there and she plays. But let me tell you an interesting fact about Phoebe Litchfield. Trishadi was actually sharing it with me once. That when she was out there practicing, she was so talkative in the practice sessions and in the nets. She was, she was so restless. And then the coach came up to her, screamed at her, and asked her to calm down. So that is the kind of player that Phoebe Litchfield is. She is a little, you know, hyperactive, but on the field when she plays, there's a there's a special joy in watching her play. And on that note, I think Sneha Ashish is still joining. I'm still waiting for him to join. Although I've spoken a little about Phoebe Litchfield. But let's look at the comments over here. Let's Game On is saying so humble of her to take the responsibility of the run out. Absolutely. And that is what makes Smriti a good leader. With all due respect to the other leaders out there, I think Smriti Mandhana has that in her. And for any leader, the most crucial part is to take accountability. And I think that is what Smriti Mandhana has done today. Although she's not leading the side, but she is the future captain of the Indian team. And for her to go out there and speak about the run out in the post-match conference, it takes a lot of. Okay, now I think Sneha Ashish is here, yeah, but it definitely takes a lot of accountability and a lot of responsibility. And I think it was a very good move from Smriti Mandhana. Okay, so there's another comment saying it is high time time captaincy needs to be given to Mandana. Snehashish, this is something that we've had a discussion upon. And also, while you had left, I was just telling our viewers that how Trishadi had shared this story of Phoebe Litchfield with us, because it was Phoebe Litchfield who scored runs today as well. But remember that one time when Phoebe was batting in the nets during the World Cup and she was so restless and so hyperactive that the coach actually came up to her and screamed at her and had asked her to stay quiet. That is the kind of player that Phoebe Litchfield is. However, today her innings was also very, it was good to look at. Your thoughts on Phoebe Litchfield's innings? But before you answer that question, Snehashish, it is high time captaincy needs to be given to Mandana. And I was actually talking about that while you had left the live, you got disconnected due to some internet issues. However, your thoughts on this comment first, and then I will move on to Phoebe Litchfield.
See, I think nothing new to add to this. I think we have been talking about it, and not only us. I think everyone is talking about it. That I think this is the time maybe to give the captain, especially the TT captain, someone like Mandana. But now it is as of now it looks like it is not going to happen. So let's who in captaining the side or not, team India side or not. As of now, it is not looking like that. But I absolutely agree. I think Smriti Mandhana last 5, 6 or more than 5 years, and she has been pretty consistent. Yes, maybe for the last 1 year, might say that she hasn't done well, and especially in the ICC tournament, there's a question mark that on crucial games Smriti Mandhana has played. But you never know. Some players also do well when they become captain. So you never know after becoming captain, you might get better performances from her. So I don't know when is the time for me. I think the time has already passed. I think she should have been already become a captain of the side as in one format. So let's see going forward whether she comes or not. But I kind of agree that Smriti Mandhana should given at least the T20 captaincy of Team India as of now.
Very true. And then there's someone else. I think Linkeshwar is saying GME needs to be vice captain. This combo really works well, which is true, Snehashish. I think after Smriti Mandhana, if the Indian team is grooming someone, it is Jemima. And to be very honest, in the previous interviews also it was spoken about. Mithali ma'am herself spoke about this. You do need to groom players because once Harmanpreet Kaur retires, which I think is going to be very soon given the age factor and given the fitness, it is going to be Smriti Mandhana who is eventually going to take over. And then after Smriti Mandhana, whom do you pass on the throne to? Is it Jemima or who else do you group? Your thoughts, Ashish?
Yes, I think me, Shadi, I think both have been talking about Jemima Rodriguez. I think Jemima would be and should be a front runner going forward for the captaincy role. And apart from that, as you mentioned, Mithali ma'am also mentioned the name of Shefali Verma. She mentioned she could be an option also, especially in T20 tournament. Let's see whether that happens or not. As of now, if you ask me, obviously, those sister combo, Jimmy Rodriguez, I think obviously, if Smriti becomes the captain and Jimmy Rodriguez is vice captain, that combo mark for India. So let's see whether that happens. Mentioned there also things are not going to get anything any changes till the Asian Games. So after that, let's see if something.
Very true. And I'll just take a last comment before we close our show because we were not supposed to go live today. But we could not resist ourselves after Smriti Mandhana scored that knock. And we've had a discussion regarding that in the beginning of the show. But I think, the more we speak about it, the more it makes us feel better because we have been criticizing Mandhana for some time now. We've been talking about her form, we've been talking about her struggles. And it is really, 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 good to see her score runs. And like most of our viewers they have also been commenting about Smriti Mandhana and why she's not scoring runs. So I think all of us are kind of happy today with the fact that she has gone out there and played an innings and kind of made a comeback. But let us just take a few more comments before we close the show, Snehashish. Manikanta Suri saying I feel Harman needs to be selfless now. This is a tough call to make, isn't it, Snehashish?
I think for any captain, I think selfless is a big thing, and I think Harman has been doing the job. She is the first woman keeper to win the World Cup, to no doubt about that, and she has been captaining the side for over 10 years now. So I think I don't know whether she needs to be selfless now or going forward. But I think the remaining time that she become captain, I need more performances from her. Maybe more consistency. Maybe yes, she performs in prime matches, especially in ICC tournaments. But maybe in bilaterals, I need to see a little bit more consistency from her, the batter. With the captaincy, see, I think we have been discussing a lot. I think that's not too new. As I am saying that at least it's maybe high time to see a different captain in the 20 format. I am okay with the ODI test thing. Harman can continue. I think it's time that T20 India might try someone like Smriti Mandhana or some others maybe.
Very true. Manikanta Suri is saying that once consistency comes with Jemmy, she can handle captaincy. I agree with this. I
Yes,
actually agree with this comment because Jemmy herself has been struggling in form. So, as a captain, when you yourself are not feeling good about the innings that you're playing, when you yourself are not confident enough, how can you go out there and, help your team? So, your thoughts on that, Sneashish?
yes, I'm right. Not a no, any non-performing player cannot be a captain for a long time. The captain needs to be inspiring character, right? And if he or she performs from front, I think that only can inspire the unit. Obviously, if Mima can become more consistent, that will help her as a player as well, and make her more stronger contender for the captaincy role going forward. So I kind of agree with Manikanta Suri that she needs to be more consistent in terms of delivering performances, and that can help her to be a front race in the front line for the captaincy role going forward.
Okay, a few more comments before we close the show. What a match for Smriti Mandhana, very true. We have spoken about this. Linkishwar is saying, need to have Pratika in ODI team. She's really good, technical, sound. Batter don't know why she hasn't gotten a place in the Indian team. Snashish, we also have an update regarding Pratika Rawal, don't we? We have tweeted as well, but I would request you to go ahead and give the
Yes.
update.
So I think Pratika is getting her chances. She was there for the test match. It was unfortunate that she got that injury. That is why she missed that historical test match at Lords. So she was in the player squad. She had to be in the playing 11, no doubt about that. But it was unfortunate that she missed that match. But now good to hear that Pratika is back. So he's set to play the domestic one day cup in England that is already going on. So for the remainder of the tournament, he's going to play for the Warwickshire BS Women team. Dab has already announced earlier, a few hours earlier. So it is good that she will play some Monday games there in England. So yeah, and I completely agree with the typical ODI bat, and she bats so well, especially as an opener, and also helps someone like Smriti Mandhana to bat well also. I think Smriti Mandhana is very comfortable batting with Pratika Rawal. The way they, they consolidate each other and the way they talk with each other, I think it is brilliant. So, so I think there is no doubt Pratika Rawal will get her chances, and she is a very crucial player in the ODI setup, and she will get her chances, no doubt. But it is good to hear that she is back in action and she will play the domestic one day cup in England.
Okay, so on that note, we are going to close the post match show today. Thank you so much for joining, Snehashish. We'll be back tomorrow for the pre and the post match show. And till then, keep an eye on Rev Sports. And thank you so much for watching.